Alright, everybody, here it is. We are in the merge episode of Sagevivor Season 3. Welcome back, and I hope you are excited. Merges are always so crazy. We're merging with 11 people today, and they're always the most fun. They just are. They're so much fun, and this one is no exception. This tribal was actually one of those, jaw-dropping, what the hell just happened moments ever, and it's just fun. So I'm excited for you to get into it. One thing that I kind of want to explain and clarify before we get too deep into the episode is the beware advantage. So I was dropping hints throughout the season of an AI alumni or AI taking over the world or AI leading to secrets, and it was because of the joke of Alex, who played in season 1, who we all thought was an AI, and I still think so because he hasn't talked since season 1 at all. So yeah. Anyways, I changed his name and he had a secret code in his name. It's fine. Anyways, he got the beware advantage was hidden in his name, and if you use that command, you'd have an option to open it, similar to the show. Now, here's the thing about this beware advantage specifically. It's a little different because I always gotta throw a little pepper on there, right? So this beware advantage could be opened multiple times by multiple people, but whoever completed its terms first would get the prize. Otherwise, the other ones just open an empty box. So the condition was if you chose to go for it, you would have to vote for your fate partner, if you still had a fate partner. And I got to make the parchment for it. And so we already saw a parchment like this earlier in the game from Danny to Jordy when Danny finished it and got his idol from that beware advantage. The funny thing is Pixel found that beware advantage. He chose to go for it, so he has to vote for Ethan. Tells Ethan about it. Ethan also chooses to open it and go for it, forcing him to vote for Pixel. And yeah, neither of them got shit for it. It's a fun one. Let's get into it.
Alrighty, so ever since last tribal, Matt was voted out, which is I would have preferred Mason getting voted out because then I'd have a full idol then. I didn't even have to do anything for it. But this is okay. Honestly, yeah, it's fine. I do not trust Jordy anymore at all. Told him about my idol piece before I was before I used my safety without power, and I told Jordy that I was using my safety without power, and Jordy's like, oh, give me that idol piece so I can use it, please, we need it. And then after tribal happens, Jordy's just like, oh, just lying, by the way, I didn't need it, I had my own advantage I used. And I'm just like, honey, nah, I don't trust you at all. After every single tribal, you're like, yeah, I lied, sorry. And I'm like, how many times you can do this to me? Nah, I'm done. I'm done playing with you. I will continue talking to you, but I am not gonna be anything. If I want to make a move, I'm not telling Jordy about it straight up anymore. No, I don't trust Jordy for a hot second. So I totally forgot to say in my confessional so far that Pixel isn't entirely useless as a fate partner. He told me how to get a beware advantage, and I immediately hopped up on that shit. Basically, I don't know what the advantage could be yet, but the thing I have to do to claim the advantage is that I have to vote for Pixel at next tribal, or whatever tribal I choose. But if I don't choose to vote Pixel, then I just can't vote in general until I vote for Pixel. So I'm just gonna throw I'm literally gonna vote for Pixel at this merge tribal because, yeah, I don't know why wouldn't I? I mean, Danny and Vintage are the two biggest threats right now, and everybody knows that. So I feel like I'm gonna be safe. So I feel like me being safe, and with Danny and Vintage both being big threats out there, Pixel should most definitely be safe. Pixel can catch a stray vote for all I care. Yeah. Speaking of Danny and Vintage, everybody knows those two are really big threats right now. They have beef with each other about Vintage's girlfriend. That's like what all this beef started about, basically, from what I understand. And it's like, oh my lord, like this is the biggest middle school relationship I've ever seen. It's like two boys fighting over a girl over Discord. How embarrassing. No offense, Taylor, but like, how embarrassing for them. And another thing that bothers me about Danny is like everybody I've talked to has been like, yeah, Danny has so many people in his pocket. Like everybody he's like besties with Danny, and I'm like, how? I mean, like, Danny's been to one tribal. How do you really establish any form of like actual trust with him? Like, you don't know where he's voting and like where his true allies lie. So like, how does he have so many allies? And it's like bewildering to me. And like every time I say like, I don't, like everybody knows that he has all these allies apparently, but yet nobody's willing to like. Up to this point, nobody's been like pushing his name. I feel like I'm the only one really saying like we should get Danny out. Like we should get Danny out. Another reason I want to get Danny out is because I know him and Jordy are fate partners, and Jordy needs to be taken down a notch. Because like fuck Jordy, honestly. Okay, so my plan for this challenge, I'm just putting all my money, like basically all my money, and dividing all my money evenly between all the advantages. And then whatever stray money I have left, I'm just putting it into some of the regular votes. My goal with this is that with 15 total items people can bid for, most likely, I mean, there's a chance that like an item doesn't get picked at all. So I'm just trying to spread all my money out to all advantages, and like hopefully I'll get at least something. Obviously, there's a good chance that like someone outbid me on it. Honestly, I could end up with nothing at the end of this, which would be awful. So let's hope that doesn't happen.
Okay, so we're currently doing this silent auction, and I almost was thinking about going all in on immunity, and I decided not to do that because I still want to have my vote as well. So I decided to split up my money and bid on immunity, a secret scroll, and a covered item, and my vote, just to see what I can get out of it. I hope I get something out of it, and see what happens and how everything pans out.
To do with like all like none of like the way she's acting doesn't align with an easy vote of cyan, and it like I don't think that's happening. The way she's acting with Danny makes me think she wants Danny to possibly flush an idol, but has no intention of voting Danny. Because it doesn't make sense for her to go for Danny if they are so close. If Danny trusts her so much, she wouldn't throw that away. Especially if she has complete power, pretty much, over who goes home. She should want one of Danny's close allies that she may fear has influence over him, that competes with her influence over him, which would be me or Mason. Probably not Jamal, because Jamal has a vote, and so she you would clearly go for someone without a vote that's connected to Danny, which is again me or Mason. But she also told Mason he was fine, and me and Danny are fate partners, and Mia knows that, and Mia knows that Danny gave me his idol at one point. So it's, I don't know, I fucking hate Danny a lot. Not a lot, but I hate him for a lot of what he's done, and hate is a strong word, I'm exaggerating, but Danny has massively, increased my, not threat level, but, the strategic, threat level that I pose to other people. He has increased that, so fucking much. Unintentionally, I think. But it's still so fucking, he's just so leaky with information and so obsessed with being, so many people's number ones, that part of that process is throwing information that other people give him, or saying or talking about other people and how he trusts them and is giving them info. aka me, and so it just makes me look attached at the hip to Danny, which is not that's not the appearance that I want to have, because everyone loves shields, and right now Danny is the shield. But it's just, standard Survivor gameplay, boring Survivor gameplay, but leave the shield in and take out the shield's close allies, so that way you become the shield's close ally, or at least become a stronger ally for the shield. Like, that's just, everyone tries to do that, and so that's why that on top of the fact that, like, me and Zamara are close, and me and, like, Jamal are close, or, like, something like that kind of thing, it just makes so much sense, I think, for Mia to take me out, which is why I'm so terrified this round. Like, my first reaction to seeing Mia get 3 votes was great, was like, I want her to pick a side, and I want her to show her cards a little bit, but I didn't expect so few of me and Danny, Mason, Mia, and Jamal to get votes. Like pretty much only Mia got a vote from our alliance, and that's what I wasn't expecting. Like, that's something that, like, that's concerning. Like, I wanted her to have a big say, but I didn't want her to be able to just completely ostracize our alliance the way that she currently is doing, for the sake of keeping a vote a secret. That's what's that's what's scaring me, because you don't do that to just vote Cyan, or honestly even to vote Ethan. Like, unless she thinks Vintage might play an idol on Ethan, I don't understand why she's being like this. And because she told me she's voting Ethan, she told me that she's leaning Ethan, partly because everyone is pretty sure that one of Pixel's votes, one of his 3 votes, will be for Ethan, because he allegedly, and this is according to me, a pre-merge, so I don't know why she would lie or why Pixel would lie, but allegedly she has to vote. Allegedly Pixel has to vote Ethan 1 time, so that means Pixel actually only has 2 votes that go to Danny, and 1 vote is going to Ethan. Zamara's vote is probably going to Danny, so that's 3 on Danny, 1 on Ethan, and Jamal probably votes Ethan, which means Mia gets to send home whoever she wants. 3 to 2. And that's what's scary. That's what I don't like. Because she doesn't have to vote Ethan. She can vote 1 vote on Ethan, 2 on someone else in case of an idol. She can do 3 on someone. She can do 3 on, or 1 on Danny, 2 on me, tell Danny to idol, and then suddenly me and Ethan are in a tie. It just could go so many ways that where Mia practically gets to pick who goes home. And that's what's fucking scary, because it would be genuinely such a good move to have Jamal vote Ethan, have Zamara vote Danny, and she, make all of those people hate each other, and then take me out of the blue. It's just such a fucking, I can see, it's what I would do in Mia's situation, is take me out. And so that's what I'm scared of, but I don't know if Mia sees that. Because Danny would definitely be mad at her, and or at least wouldn't want that to happen, would not want me to go home, and I know that. But it's worth it. It's 1,000% worth it if I were Mia. I don't know if she knows that. I don't know if she can see that. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping Mia, because this is the first time Mia's casting a vote, and it's the first merge round, and so I know that there's a lot of nerves that go into that, and so I'm hoping those nerves make her think, okay, I can take Jordy out potentially sometime later, maybe even on this demerge, that she should know is coming, because Brandon, her partner, said it's coming, and Brandon, I'm sure, trusts Mia, and so I would assume she knows the demerge is coming, and so on that too, I hope she doesn't want to rock the boat too much with the me vote, because it does that, if she took me out 3 to 2, that would put all eyes on her, but in a way, but like, even though all eyes would be on her, she would be untouchable because of the amount of animosity that would be happening between people, like other people. Like she would be perfectly safe for a long time, even though people would be looking at her a little bit after that. But again, hopefully she doesn't understand. Hopefully she doesn't realize that. And also I do trust Mia. I do trust Mia because I'm not 100% sure she would do that. We were talking about how we were both in the middle of these two sides, and how it's hard to not piss anyone off with our votes. And so I'm hoping that she realizes that, like, she can vote Jamal or Mason from our alliance, and I would be okay with it. You know, I'm hoping she realizes that. Whereas if she, like, votes Mason, Danny would be pissed, and Jamal would be pissed, and, like, all that stuff. Like, if she votes Jamal, Danny would be mad, and, like, you know, but, like, I wouldn't care that much. And that is a positive for her to keep me, because she understands that, like, we're in a similar position. And so I would almost always, like, back her up with playing the middle. Like, it's, you know, like, it's what I plan on doing too. So I understand it, and all that. Like, I wouldn't be mad at her. I'd be like, okay, great, let's do it. You know, but yeah, it's. And then allegedly, I asked Danny to, like, go back in their DMs, and he said she has shit talked Ethan a lot in the past, like pre-merge past, like late pre-merge past kind of bit. And I hope that's true, because if she just, like, laser focuses on Ethan and doesn't see the bigger picture, I'm okay, and Ethan goes home, and that's actually fairly good for me, because Ethan is such a fucking character. He keeps distrusting me. His tribal answer, along with asking Zamara if I told her what my advantage was, makes me think he doesn't think I have a nullifier, that I have, like, something else, like an idol, which is so annoying because I have a nullifier. And so Ethan is just dog shit at reading the game if he thinks that I do not have a nullifier. I mean, like, I won't lie, I expected to get an idol. Like, when I saw that I actually got an advantage and not some gym shorts or whatever, I expected to see an idol or a steal a vote, or, like, at least, like, 2 idol shards, or, like, you know, something good like that. But I got a fucking nullifier, which pisses me off. Like, of course, the one advantage I finally get, it's a nullifier that, like, can't do anything unless someone else has an advantage. Like, and the only people that have an advantage that have an idol, to my knowledge, are Danny and Vintage. And I guess I would use this nullifier on Danny at Final 5, but or 6 or whatever. Whenever I think he might idol someone who I don't want him to, because I think he is the type of person to idol obviously he's the type of person to idol someone else. He idled Jamal. I definitely think this nullifier can come in handy in the end game, but I wanted something for the I wanted something to come in handy for the mid-merge to early merge, and I don't think that's the case. What I do hope, kind of, is that she sees value in my nullifier a little bit, Mia, and is like, oh, Jordy's nullifier can be used for Vintage, so I can use mine for Danny if I ever need it. And, like, you know, like, Mia knows there's 2 idols in the game, and I don't think Mia has an idol, but honestly, it might not be a nullifier, but I'm considering the idea Mia doesn't have a nullifier, but if there's 2 idols in the game, she should want at least another nullifier in the game, at least one. So I don't know. Like, I think, but of all the votes, honestly, I think Cyan makes the most sense for her. Unless they're secretly really close, but I don't think so. When I know, I don't think they're close. So I think Cyan would be the best vote for her, which is kind of crazy so it's weird that she's not doing that. So like, the fact that she's not doing that does, like, point to the idea that there's stuff going on with Mia that I don't know about. That's fine. I'm not gonna twist myself up trying to figure out what it is, because I'm just gonna, like, hate, like, I'm gonna talk myself into distrusting people that I shouldn't distrust because by doing that, so I'm just not going to. But I do think there's something going on with Mia, and she has like this separate alliance that like I don't know about, and that like maybe Danny doesn't know about, and that's why that explains her behavior. But yeah, I from what I can see, her best vote is Cyan, or like the vote she normally would do is Cyan. That's not happening. The vote she should do is me, and I can definitely see that happening. I can her behavior does align with a me vote. Like it's what, like it makes sense. If her and Pixel were to just vote me, then Pixel's gonna target Danny, and that's gonna make me feel safe, and it's gonna make Danny feel in danger and possibly pop an idol. And she's telling me Ethan, which makes me feel even safer, and all of this shit. So yeah, I do think it makes sense for a me vote. Hopefully that's not the case. We'll see. If I go home, GG's, I called it. Danny thinks me and Mason and him will be okay, which is honestly what I care about, because that means someone else not in that 3 goes home, and those 3, Mason and Danny and obviously myself, like are game pieces that I know what I can do with, and I know I can use and like reliably predict where they will go and trust and move around. So that's good. That's what I'm interested in. Zamara's safe, so thankfully. I do trust Zamara. So I'm happy she's safe. I hope I don't go home, but I'm assuming I stay, I'm happy she's also gonna still be in. So yeah, that is this vote. Crazy fucking vote.
Man, you guys are getting like audio confession. Like it's probably gonna be so last vote. Let's talk about it. I'm immune. Vintage is awesome because he bid $500 on the 3-way immunity idol, and he didn't have to worry about anything not going to plan. Now, where things start getting dicey is Pixel going up to Danny and telling Danny that he is the vote. Cool. That's awesome. Good for him. Then Mia says, "Oh, Vintage, you're gonna like what happens." And I'm like, okay. I instantaneously go, fuck yeah, it's gonna be fucking Danny. I'm so fucking happy. Like, disinformation warfare time. End quote with her, by the way, because that's what I tell her. And so I go, and I decide to start using my immunity to be a good little fucking shit disturber. And so I go to Mason. I tell Mason that he's the vote. Mason starts to panic and says, well, I can't do anything about it. A very valid response from Mason, to be honest. Then I go up to Jordy, and I tell him, you're the vote, Jordy. And then I go up to Danny, and I tell Danny that he's the vote. You know, an asshole. And they all start scrambling, like every single one of them. Like he tells, like Danny's apparently love bombing Mia into making her believe that like he's final 2 with her. And what's his name? Fucking Jordy. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry, Jordan. You're actually really cool when you do inevitably listen to this audio confessional. I actually really like Jordy. And so I just start, running around spreading rumors. And then Mia sets me down around like 6 p.m., tells me like, Vintage, what are you telling people? I told her the truth. I thought like, I'm going around telling everyone they're the vote because it's funny. You don't want to be a little asshole. And she tells me like, Vintage, I need you to shut the fuck up. The vote is actually on Jordy, and you need to like seriously shut the fuck up and stop telling people who the vote is, because we said to everyone that it was Danny, but it's actually Jordy because we're scared of an idol. And I'm like, okay, but people are saying, because Mason told me that she had an idol nullifier. And I decided to strategically say that Danny also told me that she had the idol nullifier. So I just spread the lines, and both Mason and Danny are saying you have an idol nullifier. And she gets very upset at Danny specifically, it seems, because I think her and Danny were actually maybe potentially cool. And I don't think he believes him anymore. And I just lied in his name, which is funny as fuck to me. But essentially, she gets really upset, and Pixel starts like panicking, saying, "Oh, we're worried about it." And I'm like, "Okay, we'll just fucking use the idol nullifier on Danny or Jordy if you're gonna go for Jordy." And I actually didn't even tell him that he was gonna go for Jordy because Pixel spent like all the afternoon saying that what's it called? That he was gonna go for Danny. And then I tell him, like, I talked to Mia, she told me to stop fucking being a dipshit and like stop running around and telling people shit, and I'm like, okay. And then I just said, like, she told me X person was the vote, and I called it a day at that. He's like, well, who's X person? Is the plan changed? And I'm like, I don't know, man. You keep telling me that the vote is on Danny, and she said that it was on Jordy, but don't blow me up, like, please. And he says, oh, well, it's always been Jordy. And I go, in my mind, that's when the gear starts turning. Like, why are they trying to keep this idol nullifier so hard? Because if they don't want to play it, it's because they want to use it on me. And that's my only genuine thought process. And I told Pixel that, like, use the idol nullifier because I'm scared you guys want to use it on me. And he's like, no, you're stupid. We're never going to use it on you, man. And it frustrated me that he says, like, oh, we're not going to use it on you when we're not really on your side. It doesn't feel like you're on my side if you lie to me all day about who you're voting and then tell me at the very end, like, after I figure it out because somebody else told me that, oh, well, actually, we're not doing what I told you. It's like upsetting to some degree, if I'm entirely honest with you. And honestly, like at any rate, I just didn't want to go home with the idol in my pocket. I wanted to make a move, and honestly, if it was going to be used to save me, then I honestly don't believe that the idol was going to be any use for me personally, because they were just going to use the idol nullifier on me, and then I go home. What's the point of that? I prefer blowing myself up and making a bunch of enemies rather than fucking going home to somebody else and like being at the behest, because getting rid of Jordy was not something that I wanted to personally do. I wanted to get rid of Danny. If they had just done what I asked and gotten rid of Danny, used the idol nullifier, Ethan would still be in the game and nothing bad would be happening right now. It's kind of their fault for wanting to advantage hog. If you think about it, it's their fault Ethan went home, not mine.
Okay, so I forgot to make this until now. Sorry if there's some background noise. It's raining outside. I made merge. Pretty sweet. Doesn't always happen very often because I get a little chaotic and get a little ahead of myself. But I made it this time. Even with that last tribal. I wasted my idol, sadly. But we move on. It's better than getting voted out with it in your pocket, like last time when I had one. So I guess no worries there. But yeah, Zamara and Ethan. I don't know. I put Ethan a little high on my trust rankings. But to be honest, I don't really trust him a whole lot. Definitely don't trust Zamara. With this tribal, I'm not trusting Mia a whole lot, to be honest, because just with how vague she is with everyone. I mean, she told Danny, Ethan, but that doesn't mean anything to me. With Pixel saying the vote is Danny, and a couple other people here in Danny. I don't know. I just feel like we're getting played here, and either Danny will go home or some other crazy thing will happen. I don't know. It's stressful without a vote. Or immunity. I went for immunity in order for Vintage to not get immunity, and the worst possible scenario happened with him getting it. I mean, Danny getting it would have been fine. I didn't really care, to be honest. As long as one of us got it, it would have been great, but no, didn't happen. But I'm working with Danny a little bit here, trying to, if things get worse, he said he would give me his idol so that we could test out my theory. And if that happens, I'm not going to play it, to be honest. If he goes home, he goes home. I mean, if I don't play it and he stays, that'd be a little awkward. But, I mean, I don't know. I'll deal with that if the time comes. But if he gives it to me, I'm going to keep it. And, I mean, it'll be quite the ballsy move, in my opinion. So it's kind of like it is turning on your number one, because if he leaves, then I kind of screwed him over there. Whether it worked or not, but, I mean, I don't want to play it on him, knowing that the plan isn't going to work, because I'm pretty positive that playing the idol on him is still going to cancel out the idol. I don't know why he said, like, if Mia plays her nullifier on him, I'm pretty sure if I play it on him instead of him playing it himself, like if I play it on him and she plays nullifier on him, pretty sure the idol would still be worthless. So I don't want to waste it, is what I'm saying. So yeah, that's the plan. If it's not Danny, then apparently Ethan is going. Highly doubt it. But if Ethan goes, I also get an idol. So, I mean, at this point, it's a win-win as long as I'm not leaving. It's all good. But I wouldn't be surprised if I do, because, I don't know, Vintage said that Mia told her that he's really going to like how this vote turns out. She didn't tell him who she's voting, but she said he's really going to like how the vote turns out. And I feel like the only two people that'd be the case for is Danny and I. Definitely not Ethan. So yeah. I'm a little nervous, pretty nervous, but from here tomorrow, then it's all good, and we will move on. But, yep, that's pretty much all I got.
And, Zamara and I have talked a lot since merge, and I really like her. She's chill, and I want to work with her, but she's the one that leaks the Vintage plan to Vintage, or so I've been told. And, like, even when we were together, she said me and Vintage were her top two. So I tend to believe she wouldn't be down to work with me over Vintage, which, you know, sucks, but is what it is. Maybe if / when Vintage is out of the equation, she will work with me. Maybe. We'll see. In the meantime, I'm just building trust with her, talking to her, you know, being there for her. So hopefully it works out in the long term. And if it doesn't, hopefully it gets me her jury vote. Then Pixel and Ethan. I don't know what to think of those two. I've never gone to travel with Pixel, but he seems to be in with Vintage and Ethan, both, neither of which like me, so I tend to say he and I's relationship is on the negative downturn. And then he does have to vote Ethan at this first travel, which is good. It helps, you know. It's good that he has to do that, because means he can't vote me, which is a bonus. Ethan's, I don't know if it's true or not, but he says he hates vintage, and he acts like he does, so I think I believe him, but he and vintage could be like a duo, and they're just acting like they're at odds with each other. I don't know if that's how it is or not, but that's how it seems, in my opinion, and Mason said the same thing, so I don't know about that, but I definitely think he would vote me before he would vote vintage. And then, vintage is gunning for me harder than something that, he just wants me gone so badly. And I've heard it from everyone. Everyone says he's gunning for me. So I'm retaliating by gunning for him. I didn't want to necessarily. I never really specifically said I want him out. But he's taking it that way, so is what it is, I guess. Anyways, that's pretty much what's happening in my opinion, from my perspective. Cheers. Alright. Here we go again. I haven't done one of these in a few days, for good reason. But, it's time for another video confessional. We merged last night. I made merch, which is always fun. I've only ever been pre-merged twice, ever, so I was hoping to not make that a third time, and I didn't. So, that's good news. So yeah, there's some interesting dynamics going down. I just wanted to break it down in vocally rather than typing it out. So, there's 11 of us. There's 5 OG Allians, 4 OG Haswins, 2 OG Sirenins. I guess that's how you would say that? I don't even know. Nor do I care. But that's what the tribe dynamics are based off OG tribe lines, but that's not really gonna matter. At least to me. Because my ideal alliance is 3 Haswins and 2 Alliance. So, yeah, it doesn't matter to me. So looking at the game, I know for a fact that I have Jamal, Jordy, and Mia on my side locked up. I don't think any of them would vote me out. Jordy would vote me out at Final 4 or Final 5. We've discussed that, and we've come to agreement about that. But the other 2 have both promised to never vote me whatsoever. We'll see if they hold that up, but that's what they say, and I normally don't believe it when people say that, but they just seem genuine enough to where I do this time. I could be completely wrong, but so those 3 are locked. And then I also trust Mason quite a bit. Not as much as the other 3, but I'm pretty confident we're gonna be able to work together long term. That could change, but yeah, I think he's in my end game. I don't know if I'm in his, but he definitely is anti-vintage, which is nice. Then I would loop Brandon in just because of Mia. Brandon pretty much, at least it's looking this way, and that's how I hope it is, that he just does whatever Mia says. So that's good. We take those. Free ally. And then Cyan, I don't trust at all. I don't think he's with us, but Jamal is certain he's on our side. And he is Mason's fate partner, so maybe, but I don't trust him at all because he just doesn't talk to me. I mean, he doesn't talk to anyone, but he just doesn't talk to me, and so I'm very wary of him. So there's those 6 people, and then that leaves Zamara, Pixel, Ethan, and Vintage. Right, I think I I'm not a math major, but yeah, that's math.
I'm back. So, the news is this. I won again. I just keep winning. Like, I don't know. No tribals pre-merge. It's the second time that's happened. So that's really fun. Powerhouses, as far as I know, there's a lot of drama going on with, like, the tribal over on the other side. As far as I know. Ideally, Jordy doesn't go home, because Jordy and I are chill. And Danny's chill with Jordy, and if they're both chill with me, then that's good. So yeah, ideally, Jordy does not go home, and somebody else goes home. To be honest, I don't care who goes home, as long as it's, not Jordy right now. Or Ethan, to be honest, but, I don't think Ethan's going at all. So, that's that. And then on the other side, all I have to say is I still have my nullifier, and it's going to be Battle of the Titans as soon as merge hits, which I have an inkling it's about to hit. Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting pretty, man. Nobody wants me out, as far as I know. There's no point, really. I haven't done anything to anybody. So, I think out of everybody, other than, like, the non-important people right now, aka, sorry, Brandon, Cyan, Pixel, I don't mean to shade you guys, but you're not doing anything. I mean, I'm in the same boat, but at least I'm, like, friends with everybody, I guess. Anyways. So that's that. There's not much else to say other than, we're gonna make it, yeah, woo, woo. And everybody likes me, and that's super duper cool. This video is gonna look like shit, but I really don't want to turn on my lights right now, so it's gonna look like this. People in this org, please shut the fuck up. Like, stop talking. If you don't know about where the vote's going, do not talk about it, especially if you're aware that you are not the fucking target. Because if you used your brain cells for 0.5 fucking seconds, you would realize there's no fucking reason for me to target you. Isn't that insane how you would realize that? Like, what? What the fuck, man? So cool. That's my first take. My second take is Pixel didn't say anything. I trust Pixel more than a lot of people now. Ethan knows about the Jordy plan, which, by the way, yes, Jordy ideally goes out here because I don't want Danny having more friends. And Danny shooting himself in the foot by going around and spilling the beans and talking to everybody and being paranoid. And I still have an idle nullifier. And everybody knows I have an idle nullifier now because Danny won't shut the fuck up. So I said it in tribal so we don't have to worry about dancing around the subject. Anyways, yeah, so Pixel and I are gonna vote for Jordy, and ideally Jordy goes. And sorry, Jordy, I am sorry about that. But, it kind of has to happen. You're more of anything just a number to get out of Danny's pocket because, you guys are faded and whatnot. And yeah. And if Ethan or Vintage tell a soul, they're stupid as fuck. So please, guys, don't do that. I don't want to be right about you guys, so don't do that. Not that I think you're stupid, but, the point is, I'm just irritated.
So there you have it. Long episode, lots of yapping, but honestly, it was really good content from everybody. Everybody slayed this episode. It was great. I loved hearing all the different perspectives. So Tribal went down. All the votes are on Jordy. Mia kind of orchestrated this whole big thing, and out of nowhere, Vintage plays his idol on Jordy. I don't know how Jordy convinced him of that. I don't know why Vintage decided to do that. I mean, I kind of do, because Vintage was kind of worried about the nullifier, as he kind of spoke about, but when it happened in real time, I was like, good vote. Rip Ethan, the first member of our jury, and honestly, Ethan was such a fun power player, so it's sad to see him go, but as far as like our mayor of Pondy, he did a great job. So shout out to Ethan. I hope you had fun playing this season. We really enjoyed having you. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Sagevivor Season 3. Make sure to smash the like button down below. That helps not only myself, but the cast, because it gives more money to be able to, continue to pay these people to play this game when they win. If they win. Subscribe. Bye.